there everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Lauren of Lauren Makes Plans, and today I'm here to share with you another Bible journaling video in the book of Matthew. So I have realized recently that I'm really far behind in updating my notes into my Bible from my notebook to my Bible. Pretty much in everywhere that I'm going through right now, in Exodus, in Matthew, in Romans, all those places, I'm pretty far behind in updating, and I know that for sure because I did a TikTok video last week in Matthew and I journaled this little section here. And so I'm in chapter 5 right here at the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. And on Sunday mornings where we're actually going through, we have gone through verse 6 of chapter 7. So I have like all of this that I haven't updated in here yet. So we're gonna go and update some more in Matthew through chapter 5. But before I start in Matthew, I wanted to show you guys, I've gotten some things in the mail for my Bible journaling and Bible journaling setup, and I wanted to show you. So first I got these. These are from Mr. Pen, and these are transparent sticky tabs, but these are like the little dot circles. And this came all together, this 2-pack. So it's this one that has this whole blue and purple color scheme, and this one that's a little bit more of a brighter color scheme. And it comes with the pen to actually write on these, but because these are the transparent sticky tabs, you do need a permanent marker, like a Sharpie or an oil-based some sort of pen to write on these. And I have some of the oil-based pens from Diverse Bee, which is what I usually use, but these from Mr. Pen actually came with the pen to write on these with, which was really cool. And this whole set was like $4.99 that came with both of these and the pen. So that was really exciting. I'm gonna try to see if I can incorporate these into journaling maybe today, because these in particular perfectly match my Matthew color scheme. Like, look, they're like the same colors. So may use that some, but also I have updated my pen storage. Don't judge me. So most people that see this think that it's a Bible case, and it probably could be, but it's actually too small for my Bible because I have a really big Bible. What this is that all of my Mr. Pen highlighters had outgrown all the pen storage I was using. So this is pen and highlighter storage. So I wanted to flip through real quick and show you guys. Down here in this pocket, I have all of my basic black pens. I've got 3 different gel pens because why would I not need 3 black gel pens that basically write the same? I have my Sharpie pen, which I actually use to write in my Bible, which I'm gonna leave out because I need that. I have my Tombow brush pen. And then this, like I said, is my Diverse Bee fine liner oil-based pen that usually used to write on my transparent sticky notes, but I'm gonna put that back in here today because we have this one from Mr. Pen. And then I have all my highlighters in here. It has 2 different sizes of pen loops, which works out well for me because all the big ones fit my chisel tip, like my big fat square ones, and then the smaller loops fit my dual tipped. And all of my highlighters are from Mr. Pen. There's several different packs that you have to order, all the separate packs to get all these colors, but it does fit them all in here. These 4 right here are my Exodus color scheme. These 4 here are my Matthew color scheme, which I'll go ahead and grab. And then this one plus these 3 are my Romans color scheme, and then just all my other ones through here. And even with this massive storage thing, I still have too many highlighters, and these last 5 don't fit, and they hang out back here, but a journal also fits back here. So that's my updated pen storage. So let me just show you guys really quick before we get started in Matthew. So what I have here to journal just from this one notes page here in Matthew, this is what I'm going off of, which is this front and back here. This is all from one sermon that was in January. It is March. Told you I'm behind. All of this covers most of chapter 5, so I'm going to kind of keep my notes off to the side over here so I can see them and just kind of update what I'm going through here. And I've been trying to upload Bible journaling TikTok videos. If you have not already, make sure you go follow me on TikTok under Journaling Disciples. I'm trying to put up pictures of my notes as well as some journaling TikTok videos. I'm liking doing those pretty good, but I'm doing a pretty big chunk here today, so I figured it would be a good time to give you a full video of this. So I've got all my highlighters over here to the side and my pens here. So we'll go ahead and get started with this. So the first thing I want to mark is this, the title of this sermon was He Said, She Said. So it's like, it's repeated several times, and I love marking repeated phrases in my Bible. It's said several times, Jesus says several times in this sermon, you have heard them say to you, but I say unto you. And it's kind of the Pharisees and the law says this to you, but I, Christ, the Son of Man, say this to you. So I'm going to kind of mark those. And it starts like in verse 21. So ye have heard that it was said by them of old time. So that's the old law, and then this is, but I say unto you. So that's the law and Christ's fulfillment of the law. So one way I want to mark it where it's all different and I'm not using the same color over and over again, but it still stands out that I'm marking repeated phrases, is I've highlighted this first one. So I'm going to just kind of go around this, like put a box around it. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time. But I say unto you. And I think I want to take this and just kind of mark right here the he said, she said, so that way I can kind of keep up with it. And I feel like the tip of my marker is frayed just slightly. Okay. So I'll mark that here. We'll just kind of like go down this side and shadow this brush lettering. I'm also looking into a different mount than what I have. I film on my iPhone, and I'm looking into a different phone mount for filming than what I have that will allow me to do the side angle, so it's a little easier to see what I'm writing, so it would like get that side angle. So this is the law, and this is the fulfillment. So then let's move down a little further into this next section. You have heard it was said of them of old time, but I say unto you. And just kind of mark this in the same way so we know that it's like consistent. And then on down in verse 31, it hath been said, but I say. Ooh, that went wobbly. Again, ye have heard that it hath been said by them of old time, but I say unto you. This gray highlighter is really hard to see once you mark in here with it. And then on further down, another one. Whoa, that was not cute. All right, there's not anything I can do about it now, so. That happens sometimes. People are always asking me, like, what do you do when you mess up in your Bible? Or I'm too afraid to do that because I will mess up. Guess what? I mess up all the time, and I'm not going to pitch my whole Bible. So the only thing to do is just remember that Jesus is the only one that's perfect, and keep on plugging on. And then one more at the end of chapter 5. Wrong pen. Okay, so there's all of the ye have heard it said, but I say unto you, marked through chapter 5. So there's a couple other things here. So this is, I'm just going to kind of know over here about this. He said, she said. This is what they say versus what God says. So next I'm going to just kind of, there's another, let's see, I'm going to just keep using this blue because it all goes along the same line. So the question is, what do they say? kind of overlay this. So this is, the way that he's kind of done this here is he's done it in sections. So the first 21 through 26, under the what do they say portion of this sermon, there are several different things that fit with each section of the text, each one of these that I have marked, that I'm kind of going to go through and quickly fill those in. And then there's a what did he say section as far as what Christ said, and I'll kind of go through those too. Also, one thing, verses 20 through verses 48 are, or no, verse 20 and verse 48 are kind of bookends in this, like this is the Sermon on the Mount. So most sermons by most pastors have multiple points, right? So Jesus did the same thing and had multiple points in his sermon, and verses 20 through verses 48, or verse 20 and verse 48 are bookends, because this whole section here is the first point of the Sermon on the Mount. So I do want to mark bookends to the first point. All right, and now that I have that, I'm just gonna kind of connect these two things, and then I'm gonna like really, I may like speed up and go through writing in the things for each section like I talked about, because I tend to mess up writing when I talk. So I'm gonna kind of speed through those, and then I'll come back and do the next part. Okay, so there's that section where it kind of goes through each of these sections and groups together, like what your sin, how it affects you and what it causes, even though they say this, your sin still does this. For all of those sections. So then I've got a few more notes on some other things down through here. So first, we want to go right here. I'm gonna go ahead and finish kind of highlighting out this section here because I have a couple things I want to mark with that. Want to put here with my brush pen. And this a lot has to do with forgiveness. Okay. So now moving on to this last section here. So verse 48 is the closing bookend. We talked about verse 20 being the opening bookend. So this is our closing bookend here. So then we're going to put this, the beginning half was what did they say? So this we're gonna put what did he say, which is Jesus. And I think I'm gonna do it all in this blue here. He said, be perfect, even as your Father is perfect. So we're gonna put be perfect here, and then I have a note on that. And the note I have on this says, our righteousness is not based on what others are doing. still put this in the blue because it's all about that verse 48. So I think I might take one of these little sticky notes and see if I can fit this note right here on it. I'm gonna give that a second to dry and then I'll stick it in here. And then while that's drying, I do want to do one other thing. I want to take this. Yeah, we're going to do it up here because I don't want to go too far down into chapter 6 because I have a bunch of notes about chapter 6 too. So I'm going to take advantage of this space up here, even though it still goes with this one verse, and kind of highlight or mark something up here. And I like to mark definitions of things, especially whenever they are important to the understanding. So that's what I'm going to do up here. Whoops, that's supposed to be an E. Told you I mess up whenever I talk. It's okay, I fixed it though. I turned that C into an E. Okay, so I'm gonna take this little sticky note here, and I think just put it kind of, I guess here is gonna be the best spot. And the good thing about that is if I find that I need more room for chapter 6, that is on a sticky note, and I can move it. And I'm going to do one more thing on another sticky note, which I have in here. I just have to find the color I want. Maybe we'll just go with a clear one here. And I'm going to do kind of like I did over here on this page. And I'm going to cut the sticky note in half so I can kind of fit it where I want it to be. And that's not a very straight cut at all, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm gonna stick it here and then write on it, and then I'll move it where I want it to be. Okay, so that's still it's not great, which is kind of ironic because it's about perfection and I'm like, it's not perfect. But I'm also gonna trim this just a little because there's a little too much left on the bottom there. And then I can just kind of stick this in right there. All right, so I think that was all the notes I had, which all of this that I have done here for chapter 5, all of this here and here, all comes from these 2 pages of notes here. So I feel like I did pretty good to fit it all actually in there, everything I wanted. And I really like the look of this. I'm really liking the look of how Matthew is turning out. I'll just flip through it real quick for you and then we'll wrap this video up because it's getting kind of long. But I'm really liking how Matthew is turning out so far. I love the color scheme I chose. I love I love this, the way that it is turning out looking. It's so happy. And I'm kind of liking the addition of the sticky notes in here. This is kind of new for me to include them, and this one's just kind of hanging out the bottom a little bit. Let me tell you, when these things stick, they stick. They're in there. Okay, but I'm really kind of loving the including of the sticky notes. That's a new thing for me, and I'm really liking that. But I'm really liking how this is turning out. And I'm only like 1 chapter away from being caught up on Matthew. We won't talk about Exodus, and we especially won't talk about Romans because I'm really far behind in Romans, because we're like most of the way through chapter 8 at this point. Actually, maybe I'm not that far behind in Romans, but we're like almost completely through chapter 8, and I haven't done anything in chapter 8 yet. But I'm really liking how this is turning out. I really like what I did today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There is a great demand for more of these type of videos. I have plans to keep them coming to you, but they're kind of hard to do this much intensive on a weekly basis because I trim this video down where it's anywhere between 35 and 40 minutes, but it actually takes me longer than that to film it. So they're a little harder for me to do on a weekly basis, but I am working on getting a lot of these type of videos and things up on TikTok and Instagram and on my Facebook page for Journaling Disciples. So make sure you go follow along on those areas and you can see it more sped up, and you don't have to spend 40 minutes watching me do this. You can spend 3 watching me do this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know when I post new videos on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching.